shout it to the sky. We'll make the rafters ring when all the fellows sing about the cross and the crescent. It's the grandest thing. We'll shout it loud and strong. We'll shout it all day long because we want the world to know. We stand together now. We stand to win and how for dear old Lambda Chi.
Brothers and guests, this next presentation is probably one of the most gratifying I shall ever be privileged to make. This is because of the individual who we, as a grateful fraternity, are about to honor. This outstanding brother has absolutely no idea of what is about to take place. It can truly be said of this honorable man that he has left his mark on Lambda Chi Alpha and on the many lives he has touched. When thinking of this very special friend and brother, I am thus reminded of a quote by Khalil Gibran from Thoughts of the Great. It is, and I quote, "You give little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give." For him, giving of self has certainly become a way of life. After going through past issues of the Cross and Crescent to extract background information about this individual for this presentation, I came across roughly 135 articles he had been mentioned in or had written himself. It quickly became obvious that he has indeed been active in fraternity affairs. His service to Lambda Chi Alpha and the interfraternity world are legendary. Many of this brother's interfraternity colleagues responded to a letter generated by the Office of Administration asking for their comments and thoughts in dealing with him over the years. Here are some of their respective responses. Jonathan Brandt, Executive Director of the National Interfraternity Conference, says, and I quote, "Your contribution to fraternity goes well beyond one fraternity. The 58 member fraternities of the NIC have all gained from your advice, counsel, and leadership." Henry B. Poor, Executive Vice President of Psi Upsilon Fraternity, adds, "I think of you as typifying the best that I know Lambda Chi Alpha to represent. My long-standing respect for your fraternity is well known, and you are one of those most responsible for that respect. We are richer for all that you have given of yourself." Mary Burt Nash, Chairman of the Board of the National Interfraternity Foundation, responded with, and I quote, "Not only to Lambda Chi Alpha have you shown your love and devotion, but also to the interfraternity world, as you have sought to increase the effectiveness of Greek societies in North America. You have given over, above, and beyond the call of duty." Herman B. Wells, Chancellor of Indiana University and former President of Sigma Nu, shares this: "When I think of the remarkable growth and development of Lambda Chi Alpha during my lifetime, it immediately calls you to mind. Your leadership has been in no small measure responsible for this record. Likewise, when I think of the interfraternity world, your name comes to my mind, for the whole Greek letter system has reason to be grateful to you for your dedication, vision, and leadership. I am thankful to you for all that you have done." Robert Lynn, former NIC president, reflects that friendship, brotherhood, leadership are quietly personified in you. Lambda Chi Alpha and the interfraternity world are proud to claim and to follow you. And wise thou art. Your choice of Beatrice as helpmeet is daily proof thereof. You have made us better men for having known you. And William R. Nestor, President of Kearney State College and former President of Pi Kappa Alpha, has this to say about Tozier Brown, the brother we honor this evening. "Tozier, you may be unaware that you have been a hero of mine for some 20 years. When I served as Dean of Students at the University of Cincinnati and attended NIC meetings. At that time, this dashing, articulate representative of Lambda Chi Alpha always seemed on target, with clear, forthright, and rational perspectives on fraternity and higher education. And I said on many occasions to myself, he is a person I would like to emulate. I have fallen short, but my admiration has not ceased, only to be rekindled by my recent involvement with the NIC. Brothers and guests, I wish that there was time to share with you the countless other tributes to Tozier Brown by not only our interfraternity friends, but also those which were received from present and former Grand High Zeta members, present and former Foundation Board members, and present and former administrative staff members, all whose lives have been truly enriched by having known such a warm and giving human being. Instead, I ask you to lean back, get comfortable, and we'll have a visual tribute to Tozier Brown, a brother for all seasons.
Every organization needs strong leaders in order to progress. Lambda Chi Alpha has been fortunate to have more than its share of strong leaders, and among the most active is Tozier Brown. Tozier was born April 7, 1915 in Denver, Colorado. He attended high school in Pueblo, where his years were a good indication of the things to come. His activities were many and varied. He won awards and medals in oratory, debate, scholarship, military training, and music, and was active in DeMolay. 1932 saw Tozier graduate from Centennial High School and enter the University of Denver with an academic scholarship. Never content to merely settle into routine, Tozier looked for activities to pursue, and fortunately for Lambda Chi Alpha, he joined the Alpha Pi chapter soon after his arrival. The Denver chapter had a strong local membership at the time, with many members living outside of the chapter house. But Tozier, as always, needed to be in the middle of things and moved into the chapter house. He was initiated in the late fall of 1933, and by January of the following year was elected social chairman. His achievements during his 4 years at Denver cover almost every group possible, but still he maintained his academic standing and received an extension of his scholarship into his second year. He also became more and more active in fraternity activities, and in his junior year was elected High Alpha. He did have time for a few other activities on campus. Ranked in the top 10% of his class, president of the junior and senior classes, first chair clarinet, band and orchestra, member or officer of the Leadership Honor Society, honorary scholastic fraternity, music fraternity, social science honor society, local honorary gymnastic fraternity, psychology honor society, the YMCA, student radio division, first string debate squad, drama squad, forensic honor society, and who's who among students in American colleges and universities in 1936. Was a Rhodes Scholarship candidate and was designated a pioneer, one of 12 outstanding leaders on campus. He also managed to find time to work his way through school, pursuing such noble occupations as pumping gas and working at a resort in the Rockies. Graduation in 1936 brought a new set of considerations. Tozier was determined to go to law school, but that took more money than scholarships could cover. Again, fate stepped in. The position of traveling secretary for Lambda Chi Alpha was open, and no one fit the position better than Tozier Brown. The traveling secretaries visited each chapter twice a year, helping them with any problems, advising them on how to better pursue their goals, and represent the qualities the fraternity emphasized. Tozier, as you may already have guessed, was very active. He didn't merely catalog and analyze chapter problems. He sat down with officers and helped them reorganize filing systems, build rushing lists and rushing exhibits. Although not trained as a bookkeeper or accountant, he was able to work with chapter treasurers to get books in order. He also helped analyze pledging problems and recommended especially effective and far-seeing programs. His training as a speaker, debater, and officer contributed to his ability to make many friendships and to get along well immediately with huge numbers of total strangers. He urged chapters to improve their human relations by emphasizing year-round, comprehensive chapter social programs, including such features as Mother's and Dad's Day events, faculty teas, and everyday hospitality. In an article in the Cross and Crescent in 1940, Charles Redding referred to him as one of the most hard-working men that Lambda Chi Alpha has ever had in an official capacity, the sort who volunteered. And his work didn't end with the school year. He worked on publications, convention exhibits, circulars, and helped revise the Pedagogus. In 1940, Tozier enrolled in Cornell University Law School. As difficult and demanding as his studies were, he still found time to be active in Phi Delta Phi, the law fraternity, received the student-voted Fraser Scholarship, and was editor-in-chief of the Cornell Law Quarterly. 3 years later, he received his law degree from Cornell. At graduation, he became a member of a Denver law firm, but this employment lasted a very brief time. World War II was underway, and Uncle Sam was calling. On October 29, 1943, Tozier was inducted into the Army and received his commission a year later. He soon reached the rank of first lieutenant and served as chief of the legal office branch of the Office of the Quartermaster General in Chicago. In 1946, Tozier was able to return to civilian life and to pursue his legal career. He again was associated with a prominent Denver law firm and spent several years as legal advisor to the chief engineer of the United States Bureau of Reclamation. In 1952, he joined the Reuben H. Donnelly Corporation as an attorney, serving in Chicago and New York. He later became assistant secretary and assistant general counsel for the company in Chicago. Tozier joined Martz and Lundy, one of the nation's leading fundraising firms, in 1958 and became vice president in 1976. His expertise at fundraising has been widely available to the fraternity world, notably in his service as president of the National Interfraternity Foundation. He retired to board member in 1984. Of course, these years did not pass without fraternity involvement. During this time, Tozier reached the highest offices of Lambda Chi. In 1946, he was elected Grand High Pi at the General Assembly in Toronto. He authored the Omnibus Bill at the Asheville General Assembly in 1948 that totally rewrote and modernized the Constitution and statutory code. He served as Grand High Pi for 4 years, then Grand High Beta, and member of the Executive Committee for 6 years, then Grand High Pi again. In 1950, he was also chosen International Vice President, charged with college relations. During his years in this office, he completely revitalized the fraternity scholarship program. As Lambda Chi Alpha entered its 50th year in 1958, in Montreal, Tozier Brown was chosen to assume the duties of Grand High Alpha. At that time, only 3 others had exceeded Tozier's 16 years on the Grand High Zeta. That's more than enough to keep most men busy, but Tozier has always gone the extra mile. Having achieved the highest offices of Lambda Chi, he became involved with the National Interfraternity Conference, the association that represents all fraternities. Through this organization, he's helped to promote the goals and ideals of fraternity life. In 1962, he was elected to the Executive Committee, and in 1964 became secretary. He also served as chairman of the Public Relations Committee, coordinating work on 2 major promotional pieces for fraternities in general: a motion picture emphasizing the values of fraternity life, and a booklet containing an endorsement of the fraternity system by 123 prominent Americans. During the decade, he served in every office of the NIC, becoming president in 1969. He implemented his new vision of that organization with the establishment of an Indianapolis office under the direction of a professional executive. All of this, and we haven't even mentioned Tozier's work with the Lambda Chi Alpha Educational Foundation. Founded in 1946, the foundation helps underwrite the educational programs of the fraternity, including the leadership seminars and the convention we're attending. It's supported by gifts from the alumni. Tozier has served as president of the foundation and has been instrumental in leading the capital drive, which has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Let's give a hip-hip hurrah for dear old Lambda Chi. Let's give a hip-hip hurrah, we'll shout it to the sky. We'll make the rafters ring when all the brothers sing about the cross and the crescent. It's the grandest thing, we'll shout it loud and strong. We'll shout it all day long because we want the world to know. We stand together now, we stand to win and how for dear old Lambda Chi.
Tozier has also designed the Lambda Chi Alpha Lends a Hand logo, which has been used by local chapters to help promote various philanthropic projects. It seems almost anticlimactic to point out that Tozier is also one of the most eagerly sought speakers at Lambda Chi Alpha events, international, regional, and local. Reports always speak of both wit and inspirational messages. Tozier Brown's outstanding work for the fraternity has been recognized many times. In 1973, he received Lambda Chi Alpha's Order of Interfraternity Service. In 1975, he became the 38th recipient of an NIC Gold Medal in recognition of a life devoted to service to the fraternity movement. It is impossible to recognize all these achievements without also recognizing the support of Tozier's wife, Beatrice. Her loving encouragement has surely been intrinsic to his successes. On this occasion, as we honor Tozier Brown for his leadership and his activities on our behalf, many of those who know him personally have written letters of tribute. Those letters have been gathered in a book and are far too numerous to quote, but one statement speaks for us all. Lambda Chi Alpha has chosen to honor a brother of great distinction and devotion. Your accomplishments are legion, your commitment to fraternal and interfraternal service second to none. I join with many of your brothers, your interfraternal colleagues, and your friends in saluting a great man. We thank you, Tozier, for helping us to become the best we can be, for helping to make Lambda Chi Alpha the great fraternity that it is.
In north, in south, in deep, in west, all love that cannot come. Hail, of purple, green, and gold.
Now, with the greatest of pleasure, that I ask Brother Brown to come to the podium for some very important announcements and a final presentation. Tozier, as a result of your loving service to our fraternity, the Grand High Zeta has designated the Undergraduate Chapter Public Affairs Awards, the Tozier Brown Public Affairs Awards, to honor you for your extensive involvement in Lambda Chi Alpha's public affairs. Further, I'm also pleased to announce that the Educational Foundation Board of Directors has voted to establish a Tozier Brown Fellowship Program and has designated an initial fund of $25,000 for this purpose. And at last, as a token of appreciation from not only your brothers in Lambda Chi Alpha, but all of your interfraternity friends, I present to you this book of letters entitled Tozier Brown, a Brother for All Seasons.
Brothers and friends and be. It would take a very strong man not to show emotion. I'm not that strong.